everyone, and welcome to today's episode of GirlExec. I'm Isha, and as always, I'm joined by my amazing friend, Kristy. Today's episode is therapy, please, as in, please give me some of it. Now, I know that's not the sentiment that most of us have when we think about therapy. In a lot of circles, therapy is still associated with some sense of shame, something that you keep close to the vest so you don't appear to be a woman or someone who just can't manage whatever you're going through. But today we want to share some ideas and actually some personal experiences to help you re-envision therapy, including what it is, why you should consider it, and how you can go about approaching therapy so you can leverage it as a smart move and boost for your mental health and performance.
So let's start with what is therapy? And at the core, it's a time and space for you. It's a safe space for you to explore thoughts and feelings and behaviors to understand and work through where you are. So you could either get back to and or stay on the road that you want to be on. You know, a lot of people have a common question of why or when should I seek therapy? And we think really that there are two ways to look at this question, the traditional way and a new way that we should consider as multifaceted GirlExecs. In a traditional sense, you may want to consider therapy when you find yourself feeling sad or angry or stressed or worried in ways that you just can't seem to shake. For example, in a moment of a major life transition, like a new job or a big move, I remember when we moved to North Carolina, I left my corporate job, I launched a consultancy, we had to get transitioned here, and there was a lot I couldn't shake for about a year.
That's stressful.
It is. The second, thing you may consider is when you're facing challenging family situations, like a child who has a lot of challenges going on, or maybe challenges in your relationship, in your marriage, or in another familial setting, or when you see a need to simply improve your overall mental and emotional health.
Chris, those are all very legitimate reasons to consider therapy, but there's a build on that because therapy is not just limited to correcting problems or addressing challenges. It's also a tool that you can use very proactively, which is something I experienced in Brazil as a bit of cultural shock. I remember sitting in Brazil and I felt like every 5 minutes somebody was going to therapy. You know, we'd be at lunch and somebody would say, I'll be back, I'm going to go meet with my therapist. Or right at 5, somebody would say, look, so sorry, I have to run, I'm going to go meet with my therapist. And this dynamic was so new to me that people would be so open that there was no sense of shame in this. But these folks were using therapy as a proactive tool to boost their mental health and to help them reach those life goals. So I said, what do you talk to your therapist about? And they said, listen, I want to be an amazing parent, or I want to move faster in my career. I want to love and accept myself, or even things like, look, if with my therapist, I can practice things in private that I want to showcase to the world, how to express emotion, even how to present more comfortably without fear to others. So I want you to understand that therapy is not just something that you experience when you're in the valley, but therapy is something that can help you reach the mountaintop. Therapy, please, applies to both of those scenarios.
I love how open and how commonplace in conversation it was there. And our hope, one of our hopes with this episode is that it adds to it being commonplace in conversation for many women who are leading as executives in their own way, in their own right. Part of helping that along is helping to demystify what actually happens in a therapy session. It's definitely not just laying back on a black leather couch like we see in movies. Therapy can include sessions where you meet with someone or a group. And some of the ways or some of the techniques that are used, one is just to talk it out. Therapists have an uncanny ability to help us talk through our feelings and emotions. And just that talking in a safe place can bring feelings of acceptance and being heard and healing. A second way is engaging in activities or exercises that help you tap into your feelings in a deeper way, like journaling, letter writing, or worksheets to make the sessions more engaging. And the third way is just practicing new skills to help you towards your goal, which could include things like breathing exercises or role plays or practices in expressing your feelings to others.
Chris, it's funny you mentioned those activities of therapy because I worked with a coach who sprinkled in a bit of therapy from time to time. And one of my exercises was to write letters to my young self. I wrote letters to little Isha to tap into those insights or some of those emotions or experiences that I can understand, to unlock understanding of what drives me in life and to help me move forward with different things. So it's very interesting, the experience of therapy, and something to be embraced. I think the question is, how do you go about approaching therapy or finding therapy? And there's definitely many options. In today's fast-paced world, online therapy is a huge industry.
Oh,
There
yes.
are many different websites that you can approach. BetterHelp is a popular one, but there are many where you can actually specify the type of therapist you want. Do you want a man or a woman? What age range? What race? What religion? So that you can really customize that to you. And these type of options allow you to have video chats with the therapist. You can operate through text, through phone calls, so it's very flexible. Another approach, instead of speaking to just one person, is to join or even create your own therapy group, especially when you're working towards goals that are common for others. I want to continue to be great in my career, but I'm a new parent. Or you have a certain fear in a certain area of your life that many people have. Find a group where there are people talking about it to gain that strength in numbers, or get together a couple of your girlfriends who may be dealing with a similar issue so you can tackle it together.
You know, those are great ways, and it's amazing how accessible therapy is now. And at the same time, we would also say you could also consider traditional face-to-face therapy, using a therapist connected to your health insurance who you could work with one-to-one. And I would say my last, but probably my favorite, is never, ever doubt the strength and value of a girlfriend therapy. Okay. Isha and I have had, I remember us being in Pittsburgh sitting at Eaton Park. For anybody who knows Eaton Park, it's a Pittsburgh diner, having many conversations. Right. I also think about...
I should pay you because you're helpful as my girlfriend.
Honey, you have listened to me many times. I too, I think about this in a recent conversation I had. Two other girlfriends from Pittsburgh. We hadn't talked at the beginning of the pandemic, probably for 4 or 6 months. We sat on the phone for 5 hours. We said we're going to get on Zoom because everybody's doing their Zoom catch-ups with a glass of wine. I mean, we talked about everything, what we were happy about, sad about, frustrated with kids and husbands and work, you name it. I mean, I felt like I went on a vacation after that conversation.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
So in the end, we just want to, or we hope that you remember that therapy is a space for you. And it's a space that you deserve, that therapy is beneficial to help you address any issue and or push you forward. And the type of therapy you choose can be as in-depth or as simple as you want or need. Just remain open and say, therapy, please, as another tool in your toolbox. It could be your secret weapon for you to have higher levels of health and performance. So as always, we thank you for joining us for this episode of GirlExec, for conversations to enrich your career and life.